You're never gonna make it, you're not good enough. There's a million other people with the same stuff. You really think you're different? Man, you must be kidding. Think you're gonna hit it, but you just don't get it. It's impossible, it's not probable, you're irresponsible. Too many obstacles, you gotta stop it, yo. You gotta take it slow, you can't be a pro. Don't waste your time no more. Who the fuck are you to tell me what to do? I don't give a damn if you say you disapprove. I'm gonna make my move, I'm gonna make it soon. And I'll do it cause it's what I wanna fucking do. Cause all these opinions and all these positions, they come in millions, they blocking your vision. But no, you can't listen, that shit is all fiction. Cause you hold the power as long as you're driven.
There's no way that you make it. And maybe you can fake it, but you're never gonna make it. Aren't you just gonna take that? Make them take it all back. Don't tell me you believe that. Aren't you just gonna take that? Or will you fucking fight back? Fucking fight back.
You ain't gonna make it, you ain't never ever gonna break it. You can never beat them and they're better than you face it. Thinking that they give a damn, you're not thinking straight, kid. No, they don't give a damn, you got what I'm saying? I'm not fucking playing, I'll give it to you straight, man. There's too many others and you're not that great, man. Stop what you're saying, stop what you're making. Everybody here knows that you just faking. Nah, I don't wanna hear it anymore, I don't wanna hear it anymore. All these fucking thoughts, they are not what I need anymore. I'm about to shut the motherfucking door on all you poor ass haters with your heads in the clouds, talking out loud so proud. You better shut your goddamn mouth before I do more speak out. It's about to head south.
You're never gonna make it. There's no way that you make it. And maybe you can fake it, but you're never gonna make it. Aren't you just gonna take that? Make them take it all back. Don't tell me you believe that. Aren't you just gonna take that? Or will you fucking fight back? Fucking fight back.
Hey guys, what is up? Welcome to Sixers Alert episode 9. I'm here with a very special guest, but first, if you're new here, please hit that like, please hit that subscribe, and I'm here with Cole Thompson. How you doing, bro?
I'm doing good, Mitch. I'm doing good. I'm ready to dissect this soap opera that has become the Philadelphia 76ers over the last few weeks.
You're telling me, man. You're telling me. I'm here for it. What is up, Ryan? What is up, man? So, to kick it off, I think we should start off a little positive. And let's talk about Maxey, right? I really feel like Maxey's going to take the biggest leap. Do you believe that?
You know, Maxey's a very interesting player. Obviously, there is a ton of potential with him. My only fear is I feel like sometimes we can overhype players and it can just become too much for them or set these rocket high expectations. So I have expectations for Maxey to play at an all-star level and to be a great player in this league, but I'm not necessarily in a rush to see it so soon. He's continued to improve every single year, and I think he takes another leap this year. Maybe this is the year he takes the giant leap, but if it's not, as long as we see overall improvement, I'm perfectly okay with that.
Yeah. I mean, he's working on his game right now. He's working on ISOs. He's working on everything. And people are too quick to judge. I agree with you on that. But you look at it where the team is going right now, where the championship door is closing for Embiid. So we need that guy to take the extra leap and to be the closer. Embiid and Harden, they're not the closers. So maybe Maxey can take that leap and be a great step forward. But here's another thing, too. With Maxey, Harden's the best with him because of the facilitating and playmaking. So when Harden's not on the floor, that can hurt Maxey as well.
Yeah, I think it definitely can, but I think Maxey, one of the things I want to see is for him able to adjust to different situations. That's where we could see him struggle a little bit at times, and sometimes he struggles to adjust to different situations. But I think that's one thing that if he can tone into on that, especially with nobody knows what's going to go on, obviously, with the James Harden situation, what's going to happen with Joel Embiid and this roster. Maxey basically is your best guaranteed player going into next season.
Yeah, you're right. What is up, Beast Mode? How's it going? I'm starting to get to the point that I want a new GM. We're going to get into that. Don't worry. We're going to get into that, the whole fiasco and everything. I just want to talk about Maxey and how he can take the biggest leap. And I think he can when you look at the 3-point percentage as well. Look, it's skyrocketing. What did he average, like 40% or something?
Yeah, I think it was just under 40. I think he was sitting at in the high 30s. Somewhere like that last season. But yeah, that's one thing that I was a little nervous with as he came into the league in his first few years is how was his three ball going to be? But no, he was in the 40s. And you know what? He's consistently been a very good 3-point shooter, but it continues to progress. He was actually 43.4 last year. So if he can get up to that 44, 45 range, I mean, look out, because that's a real key element to his game.
Yep. We just need someone to be that third option or arguably second option, and Maxey can do that with a 3-point shot. And it's just amazing to me how he fell into the draft to us. Like,
I know.
To me, that's like the most shocking thing.
Well, he played on a Kentucky team that obviously didn't really do as well as people anticipated. And I'm trying to think off the top of my head. I don't even necessarily believe that he was, the star player on that Kentucky team. What year did he play? Yeah, it was the COVID year. His Kentucky. So COVID season, didn't get as many eyes. And I mean, that was a pretty loaded draft class as well. So yeah, I can see how he fell to a point, but it was definitely a steal. I mean, we knew from day one, this was going to be an insane steal for the Sixers to get in Tyrese Maxey.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And the work, Beast Mode said it perfectly. His work ethic is perfect. People are telling him to go home and get some rest. That was Doc Rivers. Typical, right? Go home, get some rest. And he's like, no, I want to work on my game. I want to get better. And with this Philly fan base, you know how tough they can be on someone's mental state. He's perfect for this city.
Absolutely. Absolutely. He's continued to persevere through the struggles and all the drama that's surrounded the Sixers basically since he got here. I don't think it's ever been drama free. I mean, from the Ben Simmons saga, and now we're turning into the James Harden saga. Just 2 years after the Simmons saga ended.
Yeah. And speaking of the James Harden saga with Maxey, I wonder what Maxey is thinking right now about this whole thing. It's got to take effect on everyone in the team, everyone in the locker room and everything. So that's one thing I'm thinking about, how it's affecting Maxey.
I mean, obviously it's definitely not something he wants to deal with. He wants to be around. Yeah. Him and James Harden seem to have been close since James Harden got here. One of the big excitements about getting James Harden was how he can help develop and progress Tyrese Maxey's game. So it definitely, probably doesn't feel great to see it happen, but I don't think Maxey, it's not getting to his head too much. Even if it is, he's using it as extra motivation to work because he knows without James Harden, he's going to be more relied on. He's going to have to take a bigger leap without James Harden there. And, especially with, like Beast Mode said, Nick Nurse coming into the being the coach now, I think that's great for Tyrese Maxey. We saw what Nick Nurse was able to do with Fred VanVleet. We saw what Nick Nurse was able to do with Pascal Siakam and develop those talents. So it's a similar thing with Tyrese Maxey. What is he going to be able to get out of him? Because Doc Rivers obviously didn't get the most out of Tyrese Maxey, but there's a foundation for Tyrese Maxey that's very, very strong. There's a huge support system throughout the city. He's literally the shining moment when it comes to the Philadelphia 76ers. I think people are more hyped about having Tyrese Maxey than Joel Embiid at this point.
Yeah, and especially with Embiid trolling everyone, his Twitter bio and all that stuff. We're going to get into that. I want to talk about Daryl Morey with Maxey because he talked about not extending Maxey because of the whole 2024 offseason. How do you feel about that?
I get it to a point. I mean, listen, Daryl Morey, I know people love to give him hate. I'm going to play devil's advocate here.
Yeah.
The guy has built some very, very good teams. The guy has been a very, very solid GM throughout his career. But the thing is solid. He hasn't been great. I think his plan is he doesn't know what's going to happen with James Harden. He doesn't know what's going to happen with Joel Embiid. So I think he just wants to keep all of his options open. I think extending Maxey now can hurt you in a way because you might have to commit more money to Tyrese Maxey. And again, this is a guy who hasn't necessarily been at an all-star level yet. So you can't commit that much money based off potential alone. I am very excited for Tyrese Maxey this year. I think he's going to take a big leap. I think he's going to take a very, very nice leap this year. And if he does, he's going to get the money he deserves, in my opinion. He's too young. He's too talented to not get it if he takes that leap.
Yeah. And then we're going to talk about this offseason. Maxey's not getting extended. The bench 1-year contracts. It's clear as day that Daryl Morey wants to focus on 2024, Siakam, Anunoby, Klay Thompson. But I'm just like, what does Embiid have to think about that with this whole offseason and just like everything? It's crazy.
You know, Joel Embiid definitely is getting impatient. I don't blame him. His career is dwindling down. His prime window is closing. His star player on a championship team window is closing. So I can see why there would be frustration with it. You know, he only probably has 3 years at most left of being the guy on a championship team before he has to start playing second and third fiddle for him and slowly go down, especially with a guy who's had so many health concerns throughout his career. I can see why Joel Embiid is getting frustrated with the whole situation and why he's like, well, you're building for the future, but we need to build for right now because at the end of the day, I don't know if Tyrese Maxey can be the number one guy on a championship team yet. We cannot say that confidently yet. No. Does he have potential to be? Absolutely. But right now, we can't confidently say that. You need to focus on what you have at hand. And that's where I think that's the one issue. That's where I have my issue with Daryl Morey. It feels like there's not really a time. There's no time for break at this point in the process or whatever you want to call it. It's been going on for too long. We're getting to the end. You know, the championship window is closing. We might have already hit the peak of the championship window. So you've got to do something now. When dealing with the James Harden drama, Joel Embiid has been the focal point of the process. His nickname is Joel the Process.
Yeah.
So I can see where the frustration comes.
Oh, yeah, definitely with me, 1,000%. So it's just like with this Embiid thing, him trolling the whole Twitter bio, and it's just like people are telling me to trade Embiid and just blow it up. I don't know if I would go that far yet. I don't know. Like,
I wouldn't go that far yet unless you get an offer that blows you away. Unless you get an offer where basically a team is giving you their entire future, I can see why you would consider it. I don't think it's a bad idea to necessarily lightly to window shop at those ideas, see what people are going to be willing to give you, because who knows, maybe come mid-season, things are falling apart, things aren't going well, and you're going to, if you're going to trade Embiid, you're going to want to trade him with something left in the tank. You're not going to want to wait till towards the end like we did with Allen Iverson in a way, and we didn't get as much in return as we could have a year or a year and a half prior.
Yeah. I mean, what would you be looking for Embiid? Like, for me personally, I want the Rudy Gobert haul. I want like the 5 draft picks or something. That's me.
Yeah, what the Timberwolves gave up for Rudy Gobert, I want more. We're talking 5-6 first-round picks, you know, a couple seconds, you know, a couple of key players to build. And you know what? I think the Timberwolves overpaid for Rudy Gobert in a way. I think that might shy some teams away from making that same move with Joel Embiid. Now, obviously, Joel Embiid is ahead of Rudy Gobert. He's the second best center in the entire NBA. But right now, the only team I think that would go out there and be willing to do something like that is the Heat. But do they have the assets to make that move?
I don't know. They got rid of Gabe Vincent. They got rid of Max Strus. I mean, hey, the Heat could, if they want to do it, they can do it. Like, would you take Adebayo, Tyler Hero, something like that, and hope they get 10?
I kind of want to got to know what their draft assets are at the moment. But yeah, if you start off a trade with, you know, the foundation is Adebayo, you know, 2024 first round, 2026 first round, 2028 first round, 2027 swap. That's a good foundation for a trade. I mean, you get a center back, obviously you downgrade with Adebayo, but he's a younger center. There's still things you can do with his career. Tyler Hero, he has shown flashes of, you know, greatness at times. So it gets you a strong foundation for a trade. Right at this second, I probably don't do it unless you really, really think unless Embiid requests a trade. If Embiid comes and requests a trade and that's what the Heat are offering me, make it happen. Get him where he wants to be. Obviously we didn't do necessarily right by him completely here, so at least end it right by him.
Yeah. I mean, would you be mad if Embiid requested a trade? Would you be upset? For me, I'd be like, we failed. Go get a ring. That's how I look at it.
Yes and no. Because at the end of the day, it would feel a little bit like he's giving up. Obviously, he is leaving the team. It would kind of suck. But at the end of the day, he's got to do what's best for Joel Embiid. That's all he needs to do is what's best for Joel Embiid. And if he showed a lot of loyalty, a lot of patience with this organization, and they've continued to mess it up. They've continued to do wrong by him in ways. So if he feels like his time is up here and he wants to move on to better adventures and a chance to win a championship, and he requests a trade, will I have hatred towards him? No. But will I necessarily be sitting there, rooting for Joel Embiid? Probably not, especially if he goes to a team like the Miami Heat.
If he goes to the Heat and play with Jimmy Butler, because Jimmy Butler still wants to play with Embiid and all of that. So, and it's just like, for me, it's just like, I love Embiid. He's my favorite player. I've seen him. His championship door is closing. We don't know how much time he got left. So for me, with that being said, we got to blow it up to a point. Get rid of everybody except for Maxey and go from there. And see what Nick Nurse does and then how he will do with that, Nick Nurse.
Yeah, absolutely. If you're going to blow it up, you just got to blow it up completely. You can't half blow it up. You can't half be all in at this point. You either have to be all in or all out. So it's either time to blow it up or it's time to do whatever it takes to get the pieces you think you need to make a championship team.
Oh, yeah. If we trade Embiid, he's going to the West. There's no way in hell that he's going to go to the Eastern Conference.
Unless it's Miami.
Huh?
Miami's the only team I think that they would trade with in the East.
Yeah.
Just because at that point they know they would be blowing it up. They know they wouldn't be as competitive. It would kind of basically be a restart of the process in a way. So if they do trade Embiid, you're right. It's probably going to be a Western Conference team unless it's the Miami Heat.
Yeah. I mean, I would not want them in the same division. Like, not to the Knicks, not to the Nets. I mean,
no, that wouldn't happen.
Celtics, they would not get rid of anything. They just traded. They got rid of everything to get Porzingis, who's now injured. Like, Porzingis is just like done at this point.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. So, Tobias Harris, right? With this whole Tobias Harris, his contract, going down and everything. Do you see him getting traded at the deadline? Do you see him walking after the year?
I think at this point he might get traded for the deadline, but the Sixers had their chances to trade Tobias Harris. They should have traded him a year or two ago. They really should have traded him before this season while he still had some value. But again, he has become the fourth option on this team and has continued to lose value. And I like Tobias Harris. I did. I think he served his purpose. He did a lot of good things here, but his time's up. I feel like the Sixers were a little late to pull that trigger, and I think that's something that's going to hurt him. And right now you're dealing with the James Harden drama. It's kind of hard to focus on what you're going to do with Tobias Harris.
Yeah, they're handcuffed. We're handcuffed with the whole James Harden thing. So it's just like with Tobias, he's like, I feel like he was overpaid. I feel like he was overrated. I'm not a big Tobias Harris fan at all. I wasn't from the get-go because of the whole Jimmy Butler thing. But it's just like we're stuck with them and everything. It's just like this team has so badly been organized, constructed for so long, and I feel like we're finally about to see it break.
Yep, it's gonna all come crashing down. I think at this point, I really don't have a lot of hope for this team to become a championship team. Every year, I went in with some hope, and my hope is kind of just gone with them at this point.
You're telling me? I always predict them to be a second round exit every single year.
Honestly, at this point, they probably will find even if they trade Embiid, I still think they might find a way to sneak into the playoffs. But either if they keep or not, I'm going to probably end up rolling with a second round exit as well. I think last year wasn't their best chance, but I think it was their last real chance.
Their best chance was when Ben Simmons, Joel Embiid, JJ Redick, Tobias Harris, and I forget the other guy that was there.
Jimmy Butler.
Oh, Jimmy Butler, right. That was the best chance.
That was the best chance. The Raptors shot, the Kawhi shot, that year was the best chance they had to win. And even I've always said the Sixers were the only team I think that would have beat a healthy Warriors team that year. So I think if that shot doesn't go in, even if Kevin Durant doesn't get hurt, I still think the Sixers have a chance to beat that Warriors team.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they were injured. That was the perfect time for the Sixers, to actually get the not championship, but just go to the finals. If they win it, great. But that was the perfect time, and then the shot and everything went downhill from there. And it's just like Kawhi Leonard. Technically, he killed the Sixers franchise with that shot.
Yes and no. I think they had a really good chance. I believe they had a really good chance the year that the Bucks won the title with the when they lost to Trae Young and the Hawks. I think if they would have won that series, they probably would have won the championship as well that year. But at the end of the day, they didn't get the job done. They've consistently fallen short in the same spot every single year. I probably would have said the same thing about them this year if they would have beat the Celtics. I think this team would have found a way to go to the championship and win it all, but they didn't get the job done.
No, they choked. Joel Embiid didn't step up as normal, and that's another reason why people are telling me they would trade Embiid, because he hasn't stepped up in the big moments. And I'm like, I can't argue that. I cannot. He's not. People are calling him overrated to a point just because of that.
Yeah, I can see what people. Yeah, I mean, yes and no. I don't think he's overrated as a player. I think the one thing he's overrated is how good of a how key of a piece he can be for a championship team. He doesn't, I guess you can say he doesn't have that it factor, doesn't have that dog in him, or whatever terminology you use. He's not a closer in a way. He needs a closer around him. And we've seen that with plenty of great players throughout their careers. They just don't. They need that closer around him. I mean, Michael Jordan needed Steve Kerr.
Yeah. Yeah, and they needed Robert Horry. The Lakers needed Robert Horry. They needed someone to knock down that shot. And sadly, the Sixers did not have that since Jimmy Butler.
Yeah,
that Jimmy Butler had was the best shot.
Jimmy Butler Jimmy Butler is in ways polar opposite of Joel Embiid. Joel Embiid will sit there and give you an MVP level season every single year. But when it comes to the playoff time, when it comes to the big moments, he seems to fall short. Whether that's just a coincidence or whether it's on him, you can feel any way you want about it. But Jimmy Butler, on the other hand, even this season didn't have the greatest regular season. Obviously dealt with a little bit of an injury, I believe. And then he goes out there in the playoffs and just goes nuclear. Same thing happened in the bubble. Obviously, that Heat team wasn't a team that jumped off the page as a championship team, but they got to the bubble, they got to the playoffs, and Jimmy Butler did Jimmy Butler things.
Jimmy Butler is just that guy that can take you over the hump. His mindset, his heart, his everything. And it's just like the Sixers fumbled the bag. And people are telling me that we picked Tobias Harris over Jimmy Butler. We did not. Jimmy Butler already won it out. We could not afford to lose them both at that time.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, it was Ben Simmons, the whole Ben Simmons thing. Ben Simmons messed the whole process up. I will say that till the day I die. Ben Simmons is the reason the process never succeeded.
I mean, you could say that, obviously, but then you could also go with the management, too, with all those draft picks.
Yeah, I mean, true, but I would say Ben Simmons because at the end of the day, let's look at it. The Jimmy Butlers we'll say their first real championship shot, and they're probably their best, was the Raptors series. That one I won't say is on Ben Simmons because it was really just two great teams going at it, and the Raptors just got it to go their way. But then he drives Jimmy Butler out of town, and then the next year he's hurt. He was hurt. Obviously, they fall short in the bubble. Then you go the next year. Obviously, we know what happened in the Hawks series. He completely fell apart. He completely melted down. And then we look and we turn to the whole drama the very next year. He just basically sits out. Then they trade for James Harden. And now the whole James Harden drama, which is because of Ben Simmons.
And then you could go with the coach, too, Brett Brown. I mean, that coach was not exactly the best coach, and Jimmy Butler didn't like him at all. So you can go with coaching, too.
Yeah, I mean, Brett Brown definitely obviously wasn't the coach the Sixers needed. Brett Brown served his purpose, in my opinion. I think Brett Brown gets a little too much hate at times. He really was a driving force in building this team to a playoff caliber team. But Doc Rivers, obviously, the whole thing with him, he had a terrible tenure here as the Sixers coach. Lost in the second round all 3 years.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
overrated.
yeah, so let's see what can happen with Nick Nurse. Would you rather go with?
Yeah, right. Would you rather have go the team? Wait, go with the team we have right now without Harden, or with James Harden, but he's no disinterest in even trying with the shape. For me, honestly, keep him on the bench, have him sit, and then get him traded or try to get him traded.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, you're not going to get as much for a guy, but at the same time, yeah, I mean, I would rather trade him and go and roll without him. But are you saying just would I rather have him on the team or not, no trade or anything? It's tough to say because James Harden is still very, very talented. He's still there. This team still is better with him on the court than without him. But with all the drama around him and him saying he doesn't want to be here, I don't want a guy that doesn't want to be here. I say we're better off without him.
Yeah, for me, we're better off without him. It's just the fact that he doesn't try on defense at all. We've seen it with Brooklyn. We've seen it with Houston. We just see him give up with the fat suit and everything. We've seen it. And the Philly fans are going to tear him up. And he's going to be like, that's exactly what I want. His goal is to make it uncomfortable as possible. That's his goal. And the Sixers want an elite player and first-round picks. And even though that's not going to happen.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to get what they want, especially at this point with him saying he's just not going to play. Nobody's going to give you all you want. I know people are saying, oh, the Dame package for him, not going to happen. And at this point, they'll be lucky to get Terrence Mann.
They don't even want Terrence Mann now. Like, they don't even want him. They just want draft picks. That's all more than once.
I mean, yeah, obviously you got to match the salaries in a way. You got to make the money work, so they're going to have to get something. But if you could just trade him for a first-round pick, I would. I'd trade him for I'd trade him for a Michelob Ultra at this point, Mitch.
Yeah. Hey, I would too. I would trade him for anything. And it's just like, okay, shout out to Tobias Harris. Crumble cookie. I'll do that as well. I mean, just this team is just so bad. You know what makes it worse? It's the Harden fan base, the stands or whatever. I know you see him on Twitter and everything. Like, that's
exactly
what
who you're talking about.
Huh?
I know exactly who you're talking about, too.
Yeah. And it's just like, why do they like him so much? Why?
I can see why, because a lot of these guys, Harden grew up as one of their favorite players. And prime James Harden was something special. He was so fun to watch. He was must-see TV, but he's not like that anymore. And that's not necessarily all on him. He's just older now. He's older now, but he still can be a contributing factor on a championship team, in my opinion. He just won't be here in Philly.
No. But he doesn't play. He doesn't step up in the biggest moments. Yes, 2 games he scored 40. Where was he the last couple of games?
Mm-hmm.
The biggest moments, the Sixers just don't step up. Tobias Harris, 2 points. Joel Embiid, nothing. Maxey, he did okay. Other than that, nothing. I just hate this team, but I love this team at the same time.
You're completely right. You're completely right, Mitch.
It's just insane. So we got to talk about this whole thing with Daryl Morey, right? And this whole thing with Daryl Morey and James Harden, the handshake and whatever. Like, do you believe James Harden or Morey was lying, or what do you feel about that?
Okay, so here's my opinion on it. We talked a little bit before the show about it. I can see the frustration from both sides.
Yeah.
I can see why both sides are frustrated. Listen, anywhere else in the world, if you're someone looks you in the eyes and shakes your hand and makes you a promise, you 1,000% expect them to follow through on it. And I would be completely upset if they didn't. But this is different because James Harden did not play up to the contract that he won or was promised. He didn't. He just didn't. He didn't play up to that point. He didn't get the job done in the biggest moments. Daryl Morey's job is to build a championship team with spending, I guess, as little money as possible, but building a championship team. If he feels like giving James Harden that much money keeps him from building the championship team, then I can see why he doesn't want to do it. I can see why he would go back on his word from a business point. From a business point only, that's his job. He's just trying to do his job. Whether he's done it well or not, that's neither here or there. He's trying to do his job in the way he thinks is best and what's best for this team. But James Harden, his job is to do what's best for James Harden. If he feels like making the most amount of money is best for James Harden and his family, then that's what James Harden, that's what he's supposed to do. Because any other job in the world, if you don't like your employer or they make you a promise and they're going to give you this much money and they don't give it to you, you're going to be pissed off. You're going to be annoyed. You're going to be angry about it. There's this weird thing with athletes where we expect them to show loyalty to their company. No, because any other job in the world, you owe nothing to your employer. You owe nothing to them other than when they're paying you to go in there and work hard. Now, if you think he didn't go out there and do it, then I can see why you're on Daryl Morey's side. But if you sit there and you think that, you know what, he deserves the money or he should still get it because Daryl Morey promised it to him, I can understand why you would think James Harden has every right to be annoyed and just refuse to play. But it's not like any other job. You can't just necessarily leave it. You're going to be stuck with the Sixers until the Sixers decide they don't want you anymore.
Yeah, and Morey's keep on saying, I will trade you, but nothing's available. That's what gets me about Harden. It's like he thinks he's at the top of the pedestal. He thinks he's up there with with all these guys, but in reality, he is not. And it's just like we're not gonna get all these players for you. We are not. I would love it to fix our bench, but it's not going to happen. And it's not. Yeah. And then the whole thing with China. He wants to play in China. That's the funny thing. He wants to play in China.
I think he does because he likes the Chinese culture. He said he likes being around the fans in China, and they show him nothing but love. I think he meant more later in his career. I don't know if he meant right now. I think he meant when he's retired, he wants to go over there and play for a year or two and let the fans see him play.
Yeah. I mean, they still think he's MVP. Look at everything. They liked Harden because of the Rockets, right? The whole thing with Yao Ming. And then Yao Ming and Tracy McGrady retired, traded, whatever. And then their next biggest hero was James Harden. So they don't think. You go.
I think that's where their love for James Harden started. I think their love for James Harden started with the Rockets. Obviously, there's a huge Chinese fan base, a huge fan base for the Rockets in China, and it does stem from Yao Ming. But I think that's why that's their Steph Curry. That's their LeBron James over there. It's him and Jimmy Fredette.
Yeah. And then with the Rockets, they chose Fred VanVleet and Dylan Brooks over Harden. They gave VanVleet $40 million a year.
Okay, I wouldn't say all that. They kind of had to trade Harden. They were trending in the wrong direction. Their championship window closed, and Harden still had a lot in the tank at that point. But the way he went out there definitely showed. I think a lot of the hate towards Harden, switching back towards the James Harden, if he's a diva or not, comes from the fact he's consistently done this. He has done this for the third time now. So I can see why there's hate there, why people think he's a diva, why they can get the impression of the diva, because he's showing qualities of one. Now, again, is it just he's just doing what's best for James Harden? I can see that. And as long as he, is either just not showing up and just not holding the team back on the court wise by going out there and giving a lackluster effort, or he's going out there and giving it his all, that's all he owes, is either go out there and give it your all, and if you're not, just don't play.
Nope. And it's just like when they picked Fred VanVleet and Dylan Brooks over you, Harden, it's like, okay, that's got to be a reality check. VanVleet is good, but he's not worth $40 million. Dylan Brooks is good. He's not worth that contract, though.
Yeah,
I think they overpaid him.
Yeah, I think they did, but they had to spend money. And I think both Brooks and VanVleet, if you pair them up with the right guys, they can definitely create, a very, very solid team over there, especially with what they have with Jalen Green and those other young guys. If they live up to their potential, if they get to that point of their career, you got a very, very solid core.
Yeah. Can you imagine if they got Wembanyama? Harden would have
That would have been insane.
If they got Wembanyama, I believe they would have got Harden back, and we would have been done. We would have been done if they got Wembanyama and Harden. Like, take him, we're done. Now we can focus on building on the team. That's what Morey really wants to do. He really wants to build his team. He's not doing a good job of it. Look at all the centers we got, right? We got Paul Reed, Bo Bamba, Felipe Sousa, Montrezl Harrell, who just tore his ACL. He's out for the year. And then you got PJ Tucker. So we got 5 or 6 centers, right? And then we let go of McDaniels. We got Daniel House Jr. back. Like, we have no wings. Sixers have no wings. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's also true, client. Yeah, and it would get you fired. But if they fire him, say release him, they hurt themselves more. They hurt themselves more because they still owe him the money. Because at the end of the day, the Sixers are a branch of a company. In reality, they're a branch of a company. There's only so much they can do, and obviously with the union and everything, unions protect their workers, and the players' union is the same way. You can't just release somebody and they don't get any money. If you release them, they get their legal binding contract.
Yeah,
they get that guaranteed money.
Yeah, it's just with Morey, what has he really done? That's my question. You said he had built good teams. They got Harden. He's the only one that had faith in Harden.
Yeah, he's the only one that has faith in Harden. He's consistently been there and by Harden's side until now. And it's kind of like, you see this famous power couple on the news. I mean, it's like them breaking up. It's just, it creates so much drama throughout everything because these guys have been so close for so long. You remember the reaction of Daryl Morey when James Harden got off the plane when they first traded for him and how excited we all were. They're going to do something special together. Year and a half later, look where we are.
Yeah. I mean, I was so happy for the fact that we got rid of Ben Simmons. I was literally screaming. But now it's just like looking back on that trade.
It's crazy. Won? It's crazy looking at that trade. I guess nobody won, like you said, but if anybody did, we still ended up winning in a way.
I mean, technically we did, right? Steph Curry's now on the Mavericks. Drummond, where is he now?
Bulls.
He's going to Bulls or something?
Yeah, Bulls.
So technically we did win, but then it's just like we got rid of the.
We got Paul Millsap too. We got Paul Millsap in that trade too.
Yeah, but then it's just like it's just crazy how we're just looking at it. We gave away how many draft picks in that trade?
Oh yeah, I didn't even think about the draft picks. Yeah, we lost that trade. If anything. We gave up the picks. Yeah, we lost.
I mean, we gave up I forget how many picks we gave up.
I'm going to say 3?
It's got to be something like that. 3 or 4 first rounders. We had no picks this year because of the whole PJ Tucker tampering. And then we have a first next year. We don't have a second because of the Tucker tampering.
Yep.
It's just, it's crazy how bad the Sixers have become.
Two first round picks, one of them protected. And one of them was already used.
Right. I said this before. I'll say it again. They're becoming the Flyers. Just the way they're going down. I feel like they're becoming the Flyers.
Yeah, I see where you're coming from with that. That pick was used on. Who was that pick used on? I can't find it.
Did they draft anyone with that pick yet?
No, it's 2022.
Who, the Sixers? We did not. Oh, the Nets.
The Nets. I thought they. Interesting.
I forgot who they drafted. It was not. Yeah, the 2022 draft. I forget. Doesn't matter.
2022 draft, but who
did they trade it? They probably traded it.
Yeah, they did. I can't see who they. I don't know. I can't see who it is. I can't figure out who they picked with it.
Yeah. Let's hope Morey gets into a scandal and we can get a new GM. People are he's not the general manager. It's still Alan Brand.
Yeah, he's just the president. Yeah, he's still the president of basketball operations. That's all he is.
Yeah, people are just saying he's a GM. He's a GM. I'm like, no. Alan Brand is there. Our owner is not there. He just bought the Commanders. So it's just he doesn't even care about the Sixers right now.
Yeah, I mean, Josh Harris, that's a whole nother mess. I mean, the Sixers are just an absolute train wreck. Wells Fargo Center is just full of train wrecks. I try to focus my hard working energy and my heart into what's going on at CBP and what's going on at the link. Now, there's only so much I can focus on because I still do love my Philadelphia 76ers, although they don't love me back. They're like that, Mitch. They're like that girl that just, you keep taking back. The Flyers are the same way. You keep taking her back. You keep showing all this love to her. You keep trying to, make sure she stays in. She continues to cheat on you. She continues to do wrong by you. She continues to mistreat you, but you don't change how much you love her, and you keep trying, and that's how I feel as a Sixers fan.
It's just like when you go into the Wells Fargo arena for a Sixers game and you see everyone cheering and everything, and I'm just looking into the future, like, why are we cheering right now? Like, why are we cheering?
There's nothing to cheer for. We're a train wreck. My good old friend Phil Stifle, how are we doing?
Yeah, how you doing, man? You got to get me on that morning show again. Yeah, I mean, Phil, you call this from the jump, man. You call this from the jump a gap year. He called it from the jump, and I didn't want to believe him until now.
At that point, when he said that was possible. But at this point, I feel like the whole concept of a pause year or whatever, it's just out the window, because if they go through a pause, Joel Embiid's going to want to be gone. And I don't know if they're necessarily going to be able to make anything happen. I think it's going to more be a reset.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a reset. And Embiid is just like, my championship door is closing. And just like, I don't know.
I didn't mean it like that, but
yeah.
Phil is my oldest friend, and he is one of my dearest friends.
And it's still good, man.
Yeah, if Phil's still kicking, if Phil's still kicking it, 1,000% will be at my wedding.
Damn. That's all I gotta say. But he was right about the freaking gap year. I mean, Beverly 1 year. I can go on and on.
Yeah, I mean, but I think I think the Sixers did make some good signings. I think the Pat Bev signing was good. I think the Mo Bamba signing was good, but that's all they were, was good. We don't need good signings. We need to make something great happen. You didn't get what you needed. You didn't get a wing that can defend and shoot. I mean, Patrick Beverley can defend, so there's that, and he's an okay three-point shooter. But you didn't get a dominant defender and three-point shooter like you needed to. You didn't get that guy that comes off the bench and can knock down, 3 threes for you. You didn't get that championship Jordan Poole. You didn't get some guy like that, and that's where it was disappointing. They built up the centers, because honestly, who knows who's going to start at center for the Sixers now? Only thing I can guarantee you is Tyrese Maxey is going to be on this team. Tyrese Maxey, PJ Tucker are going to be two of the starters. That's the only guarantee at this point. The other three, who knows what's going to happen?
My question is, who's going to be at the wing? The backup wing.
I mean, right now, it's going to probably be Daniel House.
You're going to call me crazy. A lot of people are telling me Mo Bamba could be the three. And I'm like,
no. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. That was...
The only reason why they say that, I'm not agreeing with them. The only reason why
because he has a rap song after him?
That too. It's because he can shoot.
Yeah, but, I mean, he can shoot from stretching into the corner. Yeah. He's not going to be able to pull up from the wing in the deepest part and bang a three.
There's no way in hell. I'm right there with you. Maybe Paul Reed could be at the three. He could play 3, 4, 5.
Now, I think the Sixers are going to have to go out there and get a wing, but I think first they need to figure out what's going on with their superstars.
Yeah. And then don't forget about Jaden Springer. Don't forget
he might be able to. I'm interested to see what, it's going to be a good thing for the Sixers to see what they have with guys like that, what they have with guys like Jaden Springer.
Yeah. And to Quavion Smith and all these guys, I cannot wait to see what they're capable of. Quavion's got a 2-way deal. Felipe Trusev, I have no clue why he's even on the team. He's freaking terrible. And it's just like with who was it? With Springer, right? He's athletic, can defend, got hops. He's good. He's going to get some minutes. I guarantee you he's going to get some minutes.
Yeah, I'm very excited to see what Jaden Springer is, a guy that, has been down there for a little bit. What are we going to see out of him this year? Do we see Mac McClung? We have a lot of young guys down there that we've been waiting to see, and what are we going to see from them this year if they do get their chance?
Yeah, and Mac McClung is actually a free agent. We don't have him.
Oh, that's right. He is. He is.
You know who we still have? Furkan Korkmaz.
Yeah. I mean, he requested a trade too. Like, who are you, Furkan?
Twice.
Who are you? Yeah.
Twice. And
He's another guy who I would trade for a Michelob Ultra.
Yeah. It's still on the team. He's one of our best 3-point shooters. That's the worst part. He's the best 3-point shooter.
Yeah.
And we still didn't give him a contract. Like, what are we doing here? Harden is really making this uncomfortable, as he said. And it's only going to get worse.
Yeah.
What were you thinking when he was saying about that Daryl Morey's a liar in China? Like, for me, I'm just like, couldn't that happen behind closed doors?
Yeah, I think it could have happened behind closed doors. Obviously, it rubs me and obviously a lot of Sixers fans the wrong way to hear him say that. But, it stems from the whole issue. I think he's just tired of dealing with it. I think he is, and he wants to make it public because he knows it's going to make it easier for him to get out.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, he had to make it public, which he did. Was it wrong? Yes, but he's getting everything he wants, and he's selling his wine there. People are forgetting that he's selling wine.
Yeah, I mean, he's literally turning into Conor McGregor at this point with his whiskey. So, by the way, that stuff's pretty good. The proper 12. Whew.
Yeah. I don't drink, but I heard it's good. My friend loves it.
I like it.
Yeah, my friend drinks that 3 times a week.
Jeez, I don't know about all that. Oof.
Yeah. My guy is a real heavy drinker, but it's just like this whole thing with Harden. Just like China and everything. Can he just stay there?
I mean, I wish to a point he could just stay there, and his contract could be voided, and all could be peachy. We just get that cap space, and he's gone, and it's over. I would be okay with that if he goes and plays in China, contract voided. We get all that money, we get all that cap space. I would be okay with that.
Yeah. Now we're getting investigated by the NBA again.
Oh, for the Harden thing.
Yeah, we're getting investigated. Yeah, that broke 2 or 3 days ago.
Jesus.
Yeah.
I mean, it just never ends with this team. It just never ends. It's always drama, always something new. And
it's just like, here's the thing, right? Adam Silver now is stepping in after getting calls. Now he steps in. Where was he when this thing started?
I don't know, man. I mean, it's a very interesting situation. It kind of seems like, at least in my lifetime, this is uncharted territory. With a lot of the stuff they're stepping in. We saw them step in with the Damian Lillard saying he will only play for the Miami Heat. We're seeing a lot of stuff like that twirl.
The NBA is no longer like organized thing. You got players ranting like, I want to go here, I want to go here, I want to go here. There's no more loyalty. Everything is just like done. It's Superstar League.
Yeah, it's just a giant soap opera.
Yeah. And I knew the 76ers were going to get in trouble. Yeah. I mean, it's like, it's not really them. It's more just Morey and Harden. That's it. That's basically it. And then this whole thing with this contract, right, with Harden not playing, sitting out 30 days or whatever. And it's just like, there's that as well. Like, it never ends. I wonder what tomorrow's going to happen. Maxey wants out?
Yeah. Maybe. I mean, at this point, it's I'm expecting anything at this point. I'm like living off the theme of the show Big Brother. Expect the unexpected.
Yeah, and the fact that we haven't won anything since 1983. That's the last time.
Let's put it this way. In my lifetime, I'm 21 years old. The Sixers have never made it past the second round. Yeah. I have never seen the Sixers in a conference championship game, ever.
Yeah.
Even if I'm talking even to the point, like, my eyes have never laid on it. Whether I could process it or not, never.
You're telling me? I was around for the 2001. I'm 28, so I was like, what, 7?
Yeah, you were very young.
Yeah, and I still remember the Allen Iverson step over. I can reenact my whole thing, like what I was doing. It's crazy. But that's my favorite team of all time because I saw them in the finals. That's the only time I saw them in the finals.
Yeah, I don't blame him. Okay.
Yeah. Now, you know what was so special about that 2000 and 2001 team? The fact that we traded Theo Ratliff for Dikembe Mutombo at the trade deadline. Because of that, you were able to contend. So, Hopefully the Sixers can make a move at the deadline, like a big move.
Hopefully they're able to pull something out. We're running out of time. It's sad to say, but the time is running out for the Sixers.
Yeah, the time is running out for the Sixers. Everything's running out. And I wonder how Patrick Beverly is feeling about this because he came here because of Harden.
He came here because of both of them. He's good friends with Daryl Morey and James Harden. I think this obviously he's stuck in the middle. It's like your two best friends just fighting this big drama. They're not friends anymore, and you're just sandwiched in the middle because both sides are right and both sides are wrong.
Yeah. I like the Beverly signing to a point. I like it for his defense.
I loved it. I loved it. I think it brings an extra heart, brings more heart to this team, something I think they lack. But I mean, man, it's just at this point, Patrick Beverly's only gonna be able to do so much.
Yeah, 2001 was a good year. Miami Hurricanes won. Yep, there you go. There you go. But it's crazy what our history is. And people are just telling me, like, what about this? You lost. The Mavericks are better than you. They won a championship earlier. And it's just like, I know, you don't have to rub it in. And now the Knicks fans. Dude, a couple years ago, I was getting DM from Knicks fans every single day saying like they were going to win the title.
Really?
Yeah.
What was that? The bubble year when they lost to the Hawks as well?
Yeah.
Or right after the bubble year.
Yeah, it was around then. And I'm just like, I was just sitting here laughing. I'm like, you really think you're a title contending team? Now they are.
Yeah, I mean, but it's hard to even talk at this point. It's hard to talk shit on them because we're just as drama filled. We're just as bad.
Yeah, but they got a good thing going there.
They do. They don't
have a backup four.
They are very similar to how we were at the start of the when they lost Carmelo Anthony and, we knew the wheels had fallen off for them. They're not going to be able to make a champ. Although they probably didn't. We also knew they couldn't make a championship team before that, I guess. But all hope was lost at that point. They lost their guy. Wright was getting close to the time where we got Embiid and Simmons and things were looking up for us. And now it's flipped. Obviously, they're much better than we were at that point, and we are much better than they were at that point. But the roles have flipped a little bit.
It has definitely flipped a bit. And I said this before. I'll say it again. The Knicks are getting Mikal Bridges sometime down the line.
You think?
Oh, dude.
I mean, they got those Nova guys. They got Hart. They got Brunson. Yeah, you might be right.
DiVincenzo. I grew up with Leon Roach's daughter. So it's just like I went to school and everything. I know the family very well. They're close with all the Villanova guys.
Yeah.
They are extremely close. They had Archie Diacono, a couple years back. Then they let him go. I'm telling you, they're going to get Jay Wright at this point.
Yeah, it might. I mean, it could just be a Villanova remake, which would kind of suck. Because I'm not a Villanova fan, so it wouldn't suck for me. But it would suck for all the Nova fans around here because the Knicks would literally be having just their swarm of their national championship teams.
Yeah. I mean, I'm a Nova fan, but I'm more of a Michigan fan. So. What?
Come on,
you're Penn State?
Penn State and North Carolina.
Oh, I didn't know that. Oh, shit.
Yeah, Penn State, North Carolina.
I did not know North Carolina.
No, I'm big in North Carolina. I mean, I like both North Carolina and Penn State for both football and basketball, but I lean obviously Penn State guy for football. I mean, my dad went to Penn State, big Penn State fan. North Carolina, I really first ever favorite basketball player was Harrison Barnes. I always loved Roy Williams, so it was just kind of like the Carolina culture thing with basketball.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
And for me, I'm just like Michigan is actually kind of funny. You know Denard Robinson?
I do.
Yeah, because of him.
I mean, listen, college is always different than professional sports. I feel like college you can kind of like whoever you want, really. I mean, it kind of depends on where your parents went to school, where you go to school. Obviously, I don't go to a Division I school, so I can't really, have a Division I team based off the school I went to. But at the same time, grew up a Penn State fan. When I was like 5, when I was like very, very young, I liked 1,000 different teams, but we all did when we were young.
Yeah, we should trade players from Memphis Grizzlies. They got a good package. They do, but I don't think they're going to do anything, especially with this whole John Morant thing.
Yeah, the Memphis Grizzlies got all their own drama going on. I don't know if they necessarily need to bring in more. So I think that might be out the window. That they're a lost cause on their own.
Oh yeah, they're definitely a lost cause, and it's just funny. They're better without John Morant.
Yeah, statistically, but I mean, I feel like that line gets drawn at some point, and it stops being like that.
Yeah, and they got Marcus Smart. That's
Yeah,
huge.
yeah. Oh yeah, that's right. They did. I saw. That's right. They did get Marcus Smart. I forgot
That trade.
about that. I mean, you want to talk about a trade that shows that this is a business? I mean, excuse me, Marcus Smart, heart and soul, Boston fans loved him, and they just shipped him off.
Oh yeah, they just shipped him off for Porzingis, who's now injured. He's got an injured foot.
Yep.
They got rid of Marcus Smart. They got rid of Grant Williams.
Yep, and all for nothing at this point.
I forget where Grant Williams went.
No.
I really forget. It's gonna bug me now.
Grant Williams. He went to the Mavericks.
Oh right. Like, how do they help? How did that help Luka? How did that help Luka?
It was a sign and trade, so it was just a money thing.
Yeah. So they have Kyrie and Grant Williams. Exact polar opposites.
Yep.
76ers could have made that smart trade. They could have made any trade.
I don't know. I don't think the Celtics would have ever done that.
You never know. But
yeah,
it's just like the Sixers had the capabilities to make that trade.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
They did. But the fact that we have no draft picks, right? We basically have none. Zero. Zilch. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's an interesting time. I mean, we're going to see how this progresses over the next few weeks. It's very interesting, but, man, it's not a fun time to be a Sixers fan, that's for sure.
Oh, hell no. I don't know. People are laughing at me. They're like, Mitch, you should make Eagles content. I'm like, I do, but Sixers are what's popping right now, sadly.
Yeah.
Sadly. So,
yep.
With this episode coming to the close, I asked every one of my guests this, or give me one word that describes this off season. Like, I had tease, I had failure, I had like other ones that were just terrible.
Train wreck.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's actually a good one. I like that. You know who gave me tease? Mark Farzetta.
Really?
Yeah, because this whole thing with Tyrese Maxey. Is he getting traded? Is he not? Harden traded or not? What's going on? Are we being teased?
If I could give you 2 words, I'd say from hell.
That works.
Yeah.
That works.
So train wreck and from hell.
Yep, that definitely works.
Yeah. It's just been a mess. It's been a mess.
Yeah. And there's this Sixers content creator who's also a Vikings fan. Don't ask me. It makes no sense. But he was making videos like he wanted LeBron James, Chris Paul, all these guys.
Oh my god! Yeah, well, I don't think any of these guys at the end of their career want to come to Philly right now.
Oh hell no! I make reaction videos that's trolling the shit out of them. It's crazy. And then I'm just like, he's one of those people that would go like, okay, if we go 0-82 one year, he believes that we'll win a championship next year.
Jeez, man, that's a little extreme. I mean, on both ends, but.
He was on my podcast last week, and he was like, the only reason I'm doing this because we got nothing. He's like, we got nothing. I'm like, no shit, we got nothing.
We got nothing at this point. We're about tapped out.
He wanted Kawhi Leonard.
I mean, I would have liked to make it happen, but I mean, it's just they're not making anything happen. I don't have any. I have no expectations at this point.
Oh hell no! He wanted Kawhi Leonard. I could go on and on, but. Yeah, man. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having me, man.
Oh, yeah, definitely. We got to do this again. And put out your plugs, man. Put out your plugs.
Yeah, obviously, they're all Cole.tom. If you look me up, Cole.tom, Cole_Tom, Cole.tom, you'll find me everywhere. So Instagram, TikTok, Twitter. Make sure to give me a follow. All sports. I talk about all sports. Honestly, Philly sports, I haven't even really been talking about it too much recently. So, but make sure you go follow. Thanks again, Mitch.
And by the way, you're looking for a UFC guy? I know someone.
UFC and college football come my way.
Oh yeah, yeah. I know a great guy who's in the Hardcore Sports Network, a network that I started. His name is Next Shift Randy. He's big in every single sport, but he loves UFC and America. He lives in Canada, so it's like, yeah, I'll send him your way if you want a co-host or something.
Absolutely. I'll look into it. Yeah, man. I appreciate that.
Yeah, no problem. And guys, stay tuned for tomorrow night because Crispy Flakes is gonna hop on, so that's gonna be huge. So yeah, man, thank you for hopping on again. We got to do this again, maybe for the Eagles. Definitely not.
Yeah, man. Of course, something a little more positive.
Oh yeah, of course. And see you guys. We're out. Have a good one. Peace.